We are going to be talking about les bonnes manières or good manners in French. So let's get started. First, you're going to learn how to say hello and how to introduce yourself. Bonjour, madame. Bonjour, monsieur. So notice madame refers to the woman here and monsieur to the man. Bonsoir. We can use bonsoir in the evening instead of saying bonjour because bonjour is literally good day. Bonjour, je m'appelle Alex et vous? Je m'appelle Paul. Ma femme s'appelle Rose. So notice he's saying hello and introducing himself. You might have guessed that. And that little tag question, et vous, is just asking and you. And so that prompts the other man to introduce himself as well. Oops. So, qu'est-ce qu'elle dit? Imagine what she says. That question he is just asking, what does she say or what is she saying? So imagine you're this little girl here in the pink shirt. What do you think she might be saying to her new teacher? I'll give you a moment to think. She's going to introduce herself and say, Bonjour madame, je m'appelle Sophie. So any name there is fine, but the bonjour madame would be a great way to introduce to say hello to someone for the first time and introduce yourself, je m'appelle, with your name. So now I'm going to give you a chance to think about how you would introduce yourself. So the question that we ask is, comment t'appelles-tu? What's your name? And so you could tell me, bonjour, je m'appelle. Bonjour, je m'appelle Madame Davis. And notice how I use Madame for my own name instead of Mrs., but I just say Davis the way I would normally in English. Salut, maman. Salut. So a little note there about salut. It's more informal. We might translate that as hi or hey in English. So not something you're going to say to your boss or your friend's grandmother that you're meeting for the very first time. We use the more formal bonjour for that. Salut, je m'appelle Ben. Et toi? Comment t'appelles-tu? Je m'appelle Marie. So a few notes there about the different ways to say hello. Bonjour, bonsoir, and salut. And our questions. Comment t'appelles-tu? Comment vous appelez-vous? Et je m'appelle. And these other little et vous and et toi that we saw in those conversations. So just sort of like and you or what about you, prompting someone to give the same information. Okay, a little note about the informal versus formal language. Sometimes students have a little trouble with this simply because as a general rule, American culture is a little more relaxed and less formal than a lot of cultures in the world. But just think about the different people that you talk to in your life, and you might not address your best friend in the same way that you talk to your boss or our principal or um, someone that you're meeting for the very first time. If you go for a job interview somewhere or you meet your boyfriend's parents for the first time, you might not use quite the same language that you use when interacting with your friends that you know well. All right, a few more words here, pleases and thank yous. Bonjour, monsieur. 3 croissants, s'il vous plaît. Super important if you are shopping in France that as you enter the store, you say bonjour, bonjour monsieur, bonjour madame, say hello. Then you're always going to want to use your very best manners, your please and thank you and you're welcome and things like that when interacting with any French people, but especially those who are serving you. Merci monsieur, je vous en prie. So you might have guessed here we're saying thank you sir, you're welcome. Merci beaucoup. Je t'en prie. And notice here is a little two small children. Merci beaucoup. You might have heard people use the word beaucoup around in the South to mean a lot of something. So merci beaucoup is thank you a lot. Thank you very much. Je t'en prie, another form of your welcome, the more informal form. So we have s'il te plaît, s'il vous plaît, merci, je t'en prie, je vous en prie. And some ways to say goodbye. Au revoir, messieurs. Au revoir, les enfants. You might have guessed that that word there, enfant, means children. Ciao, papa. Bonne journée. À plus tard. So, ciao is a word that's actually borrowed from Italian, and it is a less formal way to say bye. And think about some things that a parent might say to a child when they're saying goodbye to them at school. And these two are have a great day, have a good day, and see you later. À plus tard. Salut les amis. So notice here that salut is a fun little word because we can use it to mean hi or bye. And again, we just want to use it with friends and family in those less formal situations, informal language. So here are some of our many ways to say goodbye. We have au revoir, salut, ciao, à demain, à bientôt, à plus tard, which many French people might just shorten to à plus, bonne journée, and bonne soirée. So sometimes you'll be at a store in France and you'll say merci madame, au revoir when you're leaving, and the cashier might say to you, oh merci madame, au revoir, bonne journée. Seems like they always want to try to one-up you with the extra greetings or extra ways to say goodbye. So here's a little bit of practice. Just tell me what you might say in each of these situations. So practice saying those words out loud. Okay, I would like you to say hello to the grandmother of your French friend. Think about that for a second. How could you say hello to her? Make sure you use the formal hello. Bonjour, madame. Say hi to your best friend. Not your best fried, your best friend. Salut. Tell your server thank you. And notice that your server is male. Merci, monsieur. Now I'd like you to say goodbye to the salesperson as you are leaving the bakery. Au revoir. Au revoir, madame. Au revoir, monsieur. I didn't specify if this was male or female, so any of those options would be a good answer there. Say bye to one of your friends. Salut. Ciao. C'est fini. Très bien. Bon travail.